Rejection is one of the biggest causes of pain, and the fear of rejection is one of the biggest reasons a lot of people don't take action. Even if we really care about something and we have the vision and we know exactly what we're supposed to be doing next, we often don't even start. That fear of rejection is so strong that we don't start in the first place. Or maybe we're halfway through already and we experience rejection, and that can be such a hard knock that it makes us stop and give up. I honestly don't think that rejection should have so much power over us, since it is just as natural a part of our lives as choosing your favorite color jersey. Let me explain. Well, first of all, welcome to episode 11 of the MLG podcast. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Mandy, and every Tuesday I hang out with you to talk about empowering and meaningful life topics. Today I won't focus too much on the root of the fear of rejection, but rather on how it is affecting your life and why it really shouldn't. I will, of course, also offer you mindset changes that will help you to start the process of releasing the grip that rejection or the fear of rejection has on you, so that you can start living an empowered life and hopefully start taking action immediately. I want to put into perspective what rejection really is, and I also want to make you aware of how you are rejecting things and people every single day without feeling bad about it for 1 second. If you take away only one thing from this episode, then let it be this: rejection is a reflection of choice and not of worth. Let me give you an example. If I put 3 jerseys in front of you and they're all the same make, material, quality, shape, everything exactly the same except for the colors. One is red, one is green, one is blue. If I put them in front of you and I tell you you're allowed to only pick one, which one would you choose? Now consider your choice. Why did you make it? Let's say you chose blue. Was it because you thought or think that red and green are of lesser quality? Do you think the blue material is superior to red and green because of the pigments used, based on a study that you read of the difference in quality in different color pigments? At that moment, when you are choosing your color jersey, do you feel that the shop shouldn't even have red and green jerseys because they're just not worthy of existing? Would you advise anyone walking past to not buy the red and green jersey because you hate it so much? Sounds dramatic? Ridiculous even? Well, that's because it is. You just picked the blue because you like the blue color, or because it suits your complexion, or you already have clothes at home that will go with that color. Or even if you don't like it, maybe you're going to a party where you need to wear blue, so that's why you're getting it. You picking the blue jersey doesn't take away anything from the red and green jerseys. It doesn't lessen their thread count or their quality or their shape or design or the material. It doesn't even influence how long they're going to last. In fact, the next person walking past will probably be very happy that you took the blue one, because the red one was exactly what they were looking for. Why are we still talking about jerseys? We are the jerseys. When we don't get chosen, we make it about all these reasons why we think we were left out. We make it very dramatic and inflict a lot of pain onto ourselves without even knowing the real reason behind a person's decision. Instead of seeing rejection as you not being good or worthy, just see it as someone else's choice based on their reasons that has nothing to do with your quality or worth. So, for example, you are applying for a job and you have the exact same qualifications as the other applicants. And another person gets it instead of you. That doesn't all of a sudden devalidate your qualifications, and it also doesn't mean that you're not worthy for the position. It just means that the interviewers thought that the other person may fit the culture of the company better, or that they will be happier working in that environment with their team or with that kind of work. which by the way is good for you as well, because you don't want to take on something where you have to change who you are to fit in. This all reminds me of a story. I don't even know where I got it from. I think I read it somewhere, but I can't remember where. And it was about a class of salespeople. And the instructor asked the class, what does it say about you if someone says no to something you're trying to sell them? So he went through the class one by one, everyone gave an answer, and the answers were mostly like, it means that I'm not good enough yet, or that I have to work on my sales pitch, or it maybe means that I'm not right for this job, I'm just not that salesperson kind of material. And it went on like this until he got to one woman who said, nothing. It says absolutely nothing about me. It just means that the people don't want or need the product that I'm trying to sell to them in that moment. Well, I'm going to let you guess who had the best sales numbers and the best quality of life of all the people in this group. So this lovely woman makes my point beautifully. It is just a choice around the offer, and it is not a personal judgment on you. Now, everything I've mentioned so far is different from looking at ways to improve yourself. We'll get to that next. But within this context, I want you to realize that just as much as you would pick a blue jersey over a red and green one for innocent, personal reasons or circumstances with no ill intent toward the other jerseys, just as much do other people or other opportunities choose or not choose you because of their current needs and not because of your worth. So I say it again, rejection is a reflection of choice and not of your worth. Just a side note, if you're a very funky and new design of a jersey, then maybe only a few people will be able to recognize and admire your beauty. But man, those people will love you for your uniqueness. So please do not change yourself in order to fit the masses. The second part I want to get into is use rejection to your benefit. Whatever the hell life gives you, use it to evolve, to grow, to improve yourself. And do not use it as an excuse or a reason to give up. If you take rejection as a reason to stop, you are essentially doing exactly the same thing to yourself. You are rejecting you. You are not giving yourself another chance. And this will cause a lot of pain, and I'm sorry to say it, but that pain is on you. If there are specific things that you know are the cause for you being rejected over and over, then work on them. Use them to become better. And if you don't know what that is, ask. Ask why you didn't get the job. If you need extra skills, acquire them. If you can't, then look for a job where that's not needed. If you have to work on your presence and your communication, you can do that. People can help you with that. If you're shy and uncomfortable, then force yourself to grow through it by exposing yourself to social situations. Is it going to be comfortable? Hell no. But so what? That's what you have to be willing to do. I've said it in so many previous episodes. If you're uncomfortable, then keep your goal in mind. Remember the reason why you are doing this, and that will help you through the discomfort. And if it's not worth it for you, if you don't want to have that discomfort, then be okay with being where you are. There's nothing wrong with it. Just be clear on what you want and take the actions toward that. And in the end, if you choose to work through it, then you benefit the most out of it, not the people who prompted it. So actually you can thank those people who rejected you because they forced you or they inspired you to become a better version of yourself. And even if you just do it to show them, that's good enough reason as well, as long as it makes you better. You need both the aforementioned points to help you make rejection your fuel instead of your downfall. It is a balancing act that requires both a distant and objective view of the situation and also absolute brutal honesty from yourself. You have to ask yourself, am I being rejected because of me or because of what they need at that moment? If it is because it just doesn't fit the particular needs of that person or situation at that moment, then you move on. And if it's not that, you ask yourself, what can I take from this to improve myself and to work past my own shortcomings? These are the two main points, and if you really use them, then rejection will either become meaningless or it will become a means for you to become an improved and empowered version of yourself. And either one of those will serve you. Now, one last thing I want to touch on is ugly rejection. And I think we all know what that is. So it's basically those kind of rejections that don't fit into either of the aforementioned categories. So it is not because it's not just the right fit in that moment, and it is also not something constructive that you can improve on. It's just nasty and hurtful, like being insulted or being talked down to or being made to feel really small. Let me let you in on a little secret. If people are trying to make you feel small or break you down, it is because they don't want to feel small or broken on their own. It is a reflection of them and not of you. As Eric Hoffer put it so beautifully, rudeness is the weak man's imitation of strength. The amount of respect or disrespect, tolerance or intolerance, kindness or cruelty that a person shows to other people is a direct reflection of their own inner development. I realized this about myself a couple of years ago. I realized that every time I was feeling judgmental toward others, or when I started to talk badly about others, that in that moment I was really insecure and I felt really weak and bad about myself. And the only way for me to momentarily feel better and feel a bit stronger was to convince myself that those around me were worse than me. That's a coward's way of finding strength. And unfortunately, like a drug, it's the easiest way, but also over time the most damaging for everyone involved. So now I use it as a reminder to work on myself. As soon as that feeling of judgment or wanting to talk about someone else comes up for me, it's a prompt to look at myself, to see where am I or why am I feeling insecure, where am I feeling weak, what is it that I have to deal with. And immediately it takes the focus away from them, it puts the focus back on me, where it should be, because it has nothing to do with them. So once you recognize that when others make you feel bad, it is a reflection of their inner state, it sets you free. You can discard it because it is none of your business. So in conclusion, if you allow other people's choices and circumstances to determine your own sense of self-worth, that's on you. If you stop working on yourself and don't go beyond the obstacles, that's on you. If you accept other people's insecurities as your own, that's on you too. I'm not saying this because I don't understand your pain. Trust me, I do. I say it because I never ever want you to surrender or give away your power, because I also know that once you become empowered, you become invincible, and then you can sit back and look at yourself and your life and say, all of this is on me. And also one of the biggest which is even worse. No, it's not worse. Both are shit. Crushes us. No. No, it doesn't make sense. No. And then Nia. Nope. No. It's just a no today. Natural. It's so difficult. That sentence is so difficult. Blame the writer. Also again, offer. I'm always with offer. Why did you make it? It's like these brain freeze moments. Do you think the blue superior is gosh, that one almost slipped through. Can you hear my dog? She's having a dream. It's so cute. No. No. Nope. No. Yeah. Yeah. No. Not. No. 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 Catch you later. It's gonna be super to convince myself. There are a couple of us here.